really don't care what the odds are, what people are saying.
The NBA regular season is just 3 weeks away, and for at least the next 8 months, the Raptors are the defending NBA champions. But unfortunately, a lot of sports analysts are ruling them out of the finals yet again.
It's been like that since I first came to this team as a rookie. We've always been the least favored to win, to make it out the first round, the playoffs, the East, whatever it is. We've always had that on us.
Obviously, we're not favorites. I think if Kawhi would have came back and Danny would have came back with the same team, we could have been favorites to win it, but I'm not sure how much that stuff matters.
It's true. The Raptors for years have been written off. Just look at these playoff predictions going into last year's season by the New York Times. Every single writer at the New York Times picked the Boston Celtics over the Toronto Raptors in the Eastern Conference Finals, or didn't have the Raptors in the finals at all. And a friendly reminder that the Raptors beat the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference Finals. Another team that was pretty much wrote off last season. Now, it wasn't only the New York Times picking the Boston Celtics over the Toronto Raptors going to the finals. It actually was most sports outlets in the States. Sports Illustrated wrote a huge feature going into the season last year about how the Warriors and Celtics would make it to the finals and how they might become this generation's biggest rivalry. Yeah. I've heard it all. There were players that got injured on other teams. That's why they didn't make it to the finals. But the Raptors also were bit by the injury bug last season. So let's stop making excuses and respect the fact that the current NBA champions are the Toronto Raptors, and they're coming to fight this season.
You got to go out there, you got to lace them up, you got to put a lot of work in, you got to stay really good and grow throughout the year. And towards the end of the year, you got to be playing some of your better basketball. And then there's 2 months from April to the end, and there's going to be ups and downs. We got blown out. We blew teams out. We had injuries. There's a lot of stuff along the way that goes into winning championships. So it's not as cut and dry as people want to make it seem.
We all have the belief that we can run it back, and we're going to go with that despite what's being written or talked about.
Yes, Kawhi leaving the Toronto Raptors was one of the big NBA moves this offseason, but a lot of players went to different teams, which really means this year could be anybody's year.
If you say who's going to come out of the East, I think it's a question. I think for the first time, it's a question who's going to win the NBA championship. I don't think anybody knows. I don't think anybody knows who's going to come out of the West.
The Raptors opened their training camp today in Quebec City. Then they'll fly to Japan, where they take on the Houston Rockets in some preseason games on October 8th.